Hey there, everyone. Just got back from YCS Las Vegas, the 3v3. We managed to place in top 16 this weekend. I believe we came 7th place after Swiss. I was player A with my teammates Mario D'Amico at player B and Rico Eichelberger at player C. It was a real pleasure playing the event. I really like 3v3s. This was only the second ever 3v3 YCS that I've ever played. We came really close last year, just barely missing out last round, so felt really good to get the top this time. Also had a fun feature match, and yeah, we almost had it in top 16, just that close. Before we go any further though, I just want to do a shout out to United Ghostess Academy on Medify. You can check them out in the description down below. There's going to be links there. We do coaching, we do master classes, we do guides. You can test with us, learn from the best. So be sure to check out the description in the description box below. Yeah, we're just gonna get right into it. So I played Fiendsmith Ryzeal for this event. I decided to go with Fiendsmith Ryzeal because Pure just didn't really feel like the right pick for me for this event. I had tested with it quite a bit. Both the Pure variants and the Fiendsmith variants, and in the end, Fiendsmith just felt like it was better into the overall meta, and I felt like Fiendsmith gave me an edge playing versus the Pure Ryzeal matchup. And so that's why I ended up going with it, obviously making concessions to the Malice matchup, and just basically hoping to either dodge them or win die roll versus them, but that's basically the conclusion that I came to, was that I wanted to just play the best deck, and the best deck to me was Fiendsmith Ryzeal. So just getting right into it. For the Ryzeal package, we're playing these. So 3 ice, 3 X'd. Decided that the 3X was way too important when you're trying to break boards. There are many games where you can break a board with just like X'd and like 1 extender and maybe 1 non-engine card. Yeah, I felt like we definitely needed to max out on the X Ryzeals. That's funny. Then with Sword, I decided that I only wanted to play 2 of these. Some of the worst hands that you can draw in this deck is when you kind of just draw like too much engine. And so we wanted to kind of cut down on those kind of hands. Yeah, 2 Sword just felt right. You never want to draw 2 of this card, and you just don't want to draw too many Ryzeal cards and too much engine. And the deck had enough starters. So in total, between the Ryzeal cards here and the Fiendsmith cards, we're playing a total of 18 starters. And so these are like 18 cards that basically when you draw them, you're going to be able to play the game, which is very important. You definitely want to play the game. Drawing these cards are a lot more resilient into hand traps than some of the Ryzeal cards. Obviously, if you draw just 1 Ryzeal card, it gets stopped by 1 hand trap, which is not great. Whereas the Fiendsmith cards generally play through hand traps quite a bit better and help you set up even if you do end up getting stopped, which is really nice. There was a lot less Bestials at this event than there were at previous events, which was another reason that I felt like Fiendsmith Ryzeal was the way that I wanted to go. There was actually many matchups where I would face like Ryzeal mirrors, like pure Ryzeal, and I would win with just the Fiendsmith cards. Like they would either stop my Ryzeal plays completely, but then they just couldn't deal with the follow-up that this gives. And I had the right non-engine to like deal with their engine. And so, yeah, these cards are just so good in the grind. I'm expecting them to get hit on the ban list very soon for sure. And then the 3 engine requirements. So a little bit of math on the deck. So we played 3 engine requirements. So 3 kind of like quote-unquote bricks. We played 18 starters. Which brings us to 21, and then we played 23 non-engine cards. So a lot of non-engine for this deck. Decided that, because we don't really want to see these cards, and because these 2 are not exactly the best to draw, we felt totally fine going up in deck count for this one. I did end up bricking a total of 3 times this tournament. I won 1 of those 3 times where I bricked. I lost the other 2. And those two bricks were actually versus Malice, which was already my worst matchup, and I lost die roll versus both of those. So in total this weekend, my personal record was 8-2-1. I won actually 8 matches versus Ryzeal or versus either Pure Ryzeal or Fiendsmith Ryzeal. I lost twice versus Malice, where I lost the die roll, and I drew once versus Memento, again, where I lost the die roll, and we weren't even able to get started on game 3, unfortunately. So yeah. And then for the non-engine, so playing some of the best hand traps in the game. I think these are in like basically everybody's deck. Nothing much to be said here. So for those 9, and then I decided to play triple Droll and Lockbird for this event. I do not regret it one bit. They were very, very, very good for me. At least at the beginning of this new format, I guess you can say, with the 7th Tachyon releasing. I felt like quite a bit of people were going to be playing the 7th Tachyon cards, even though I personally think that Pot of Desires is a little bit better for the pure Ryzeal deck, unless you're playing Shark stuff maybe. Yeah, Droll was very, very good for me all weekend. I was like ending turns with it pretty often. I mean, the card has its times where it's completely useless and where it does basically nothing. But the idea for the deck, and shout out to Paulo PRJ for this, because obviously this deck is heavily inspired by his El Salvador deck, and also shout out to his training video log that he did, where he explained a lot of his theories on the deck. But really, you know, the idea is that you want to be pairing these very high impact hand traps with the high impact cards like Metaltronus, which deal with the opponent's board with you know, whatever half board that they kind of put up. So I decided to build my deck more geared towards Ryzeal for sure by playing those 3 Metaltronus. I didn't want to play less of them. And if I did play less of them, I was probably going to swap 1 or 2 out for cards that are specifically targeting Fiendsmith Ryzeal or pure Ryzeal. I just wanted to be very, very prepared for that matchup. And so, yeah, the idea is to kind of pair these hand traps with something like a Metaltronus that can help you to break their board. Triple Tactics Talent also plays a role in that, as does kind of Called by the Grave. So, yeah, so I played a total of... So let's just clean this up a little bit. So I played a total of 15 hand traps. I did play 1 Veiler, 1 Ghost Ogre, and 1 Nibiru. These are mostly cross-out targets. Veiler, I feel, is not super, super great in the format. I was playing 3, but it felt a little bit lackluster. I ended up cutting it down to 1. Ghost Ogre kind of in the same boat, I'd say, as Effect Veiler. And then Nibiru was more of a cross-out target than anything for me in this deck. I drew it once. I resolved it once. It wasn't very good. It's not a very good card this format, but I did feel like I wanted it for cross-out in certain cases, and I wanted to also just round out my hand trap lineup and be playing 15 of those. And then, like I had mentioned, so playing the 3 Metaltronus, 1 Called by, 1 Talents, and 3 Cross-out Designator to round out the non-engine. Cross-out Designator felt good enough to play in this tournament because it stops cards like Metaltronus when you're trying to break the board, which is super, super important. So there'd be like plenty of times where I'm like, okay, I'm going to Metaltronus their Detonator, and then I'm going to try to play, and I'm going to try to cross out their Metaltronus once I start playing. It really felt like a lot of games were being decided by Metaltronus. We actually topped the event. The event topping play was Metaltronus on a Chaos Angel to win it all, so that was a fun one. That's it for the main deck. Like I said, 44 cards. For the extra deck, there is literally nothing to be said for this extra deck. It is the most standard extra deck in the game right now. I don't think there's anything that you can do differently for this extra deck unless you just are trying to be spicy. You know, like you could play second Requiem, you could play a Star Liege, so that you have like another rank 4 to go for. Besides that, you could play an SP Little Knight maybe, or a Typhon. I know some people were even siding Typhon. But these 15 are the 15 that you definitely want to be playing. If you're not, you're making a concession by either like maybe cutting Dweller, moving it to the side, or cutting Exciton and not playing it entirely, but I don't think that that's correct at all. So that's it for the extra deck. For the side deck, so obviously this deck's worst matchup, the only bad matchup for the deck really, is Malice, specifically Bistro Malice. Wanted to be very, very prepared for that. I know that they're all playing triple Metaltronus right now, so I didn't really want to be playing Chaos Hunters for this event. I feel like Meowth is actually very good in Fiendsmith Ryzeal. It was less good when I was testing pure Ryzeal. In Fiendsmith Ryzeal, I feel like this card is very good just because we have so much push. We have so many ways to like keep playing and keep extending. So like when they're giving us cards and they're having to make concessions and have like a weaker like end board, I feel like this lets me get the advantage and get the cards that I need to basically just push through. So these 6 felt right. honestly, I ended up losing both Malice matches that I played anyways because I did not draw any of these cards and I lost die roll and I bricked versus them. So I didn't have the best Malice experience for sure this event. So I basically could have just not even been playing those cards and that would have been probably fine. These cards won me all of my Ryzeal mirrors. I drew them quite a bit. In the feature match, I actually drew all three of these. Like the first three cards that I looked at off the top of my deck were literally these three, and it made no sense because I always make sure to like to like really shuffle up my side deck very well. So I was like, what is happening here? Very unfortunate. I ended up losing that game, but I ended up taking game 3, or I was about to anyways. Perulia, honestly, Perulia wasn't the best in testing, but there's just nothing that felt like it covered as much as this covered while still being very, very solid against Ryzeal. And so that was really the difference for me. I felt like going second is so hard that you need like very high impact cards that like either make your opponent misplay, make your opponent end on like a weaker board, and etc. And then I'm basically just trying to play cards that clean up their half board, like the Metaltronus, the Talents, the Crossout for their non-engine, and these board breakers here. So that was the strategy for going second versus Ryzeal mostly. And then last 3 cards, I needed cards for going first. If you notice, the rest of the side deck, I mean, besides the Lancias, this is all go second stuff. So needed stuff for go first. Solemn Judgment is the best go first cards for this deck especially. Did not want to play Solemn Strike because everyone is on Lightning Storm Duster. I rather protect my board. I rather open like Solemn Judgment, Metaltronus, called by like Imperm with my cross, like some combination of those, and have the Solemn Judgment protecting some combination of those versus having something like Solemn Strike, setting Metaltronus, and just getting Lightning Stormed. I felt like people that were doing that were like a little bit behind. I feel like Solemn Strike was not the call for this event at all, unless you're playing a different deck that specifically like, you know, like Malice, they say like, oh, well, you can Solemn Strike like a Lancia, that's obviously strong, etc. But yeah, for this deck, definitely Solemn Judgment felt best. And so that's the deck. That's it. Just want to give a few shout outs to some friends of mine. So obviously shout out to Mario and Rico, my teammates. Shout out to everyone that I came down with. You know who you are, all the guys from Montreal. Had a really good time. Shout out to my local Cartamagica. I don't really have a lot of time to go out there anymore, but I'm still thinking about you guys. I'm still keeping up with you guys, and hopefully I'll be there soon. But yeah, that's it for this event. Looking forward to Providence next, and hopefully see you then with another deck profile. Thanks.